some other people. All right. Turntable Gene 6 says, "Hi, Mike. Sam here from Sydney, Australia." Really? Nice. I just immediately thought of Finding Nemo. Probably people do that to you a lot. Sorry, Sam. Does 1 Samuel 28:19 disprove the theological swinging around and not doing anything? But you... Okay, good. Thanks. All right, guys. All right, we had the stream dip out for a second. I look over and YouTube's like, now would be a good time to insert ads. YouTube always thinks it's a good time to insert ads, even when their streams don't work. Okay, so Hades is where the rich man goes, and this is not Gehenna or not hell, right? Or the abyss. Like, this is a different thing, and I have a video on that where people... Anyway, I should do a video explaining that in detail one of these days. But then... Lazarus, who is like the one who was basically saved, right? He goes to Abraham's bosom. This is a place of comfort. And it's, I don't know if the place is meant to be called Abraham's bosom, or if it's more that literally Abraham is there and Abraham like basically greets him and comforts him. So it's Abraham, like Abraham gave you a big hug, you know, is what it's saying. So he's in the place of comfort. The idea is that before Christ died, these are the sections people went to before they died. That's the theological doctrine. It's not essential to Christian faith. Not all Christians hold to it. I lean on that view, though. But then after Jesus died and rose, he took all those who were in Abraham's comfort and he took them up with him to be with the Father. And so that's why when Paul's like, hey, if I die, I'll be with Christ. He wouldn't be in that waiting place. He'd be with Christ immediately. All that to say, here we are in the verse you asked about. The Lord will give Israel also with you into the hand of the Philistines. This is the right verse, right? Yeah. And tomorrow you and your son shall be with me. The Lord will give the army of Israel also into the hand of the Philistines. Okay. So this is in a larger section. I have dealt with this before. You guys can check it out if you go to BibleThinker.org and you use the, listen to my words carefully, clip search feature. There's 2 search features. Use the clip search feature and you type in like Samuel or something, or witch, because there's a witch in this passage, and you can get answers to those questions. But let me answer this specific question from Turnable Gene 6, also known as Sam. So Saul goes and he inquires of a witch. The witch does this sort of medium thing to try to bring up some spirit. A spirit actually shows up. It's Samuel. And Samuel speaks to Saul and rebukes him. The witch is shocked. It seems to me she didn't expect this to happen. She was just faking things or using demons. She didn't expect the actual person to show up for real. And so Samuel shows up and he's mad at Saul. And Samuel shows up from where? Well, from wherever he's been as a dead spirit, as a disembodied spirit. He's been wherever there has been. And then he tells Saul, yeah, I got a prophecy for you. You want a prophecy? Here's a prophecy. You're going to die. And then he uses the phrase, after he says you're going to die, he says, you'll be with me. You'll be with me. You and your son shall be with me. Now, Samuel went back down. So the question is, does this disprove the idea of Abraham's bosom? And I think the answer is probably no, because the Hebrews would often use the term Sheol to refer to where everyone goes when they die. And that would refer to like this sort of Hades afterlife type location. Jesus may have offered more specificity by saying, but the ones that are saved, they go into this category, and the ones that are unsaved go into this category. One goes into comfort, one goes into suffering, while they wait on a final judgment. So I think that it doesn't disprove it, because by that terminology of being with me could refer to going into the afterlife, into the place of the dead, right? That's terminology that would fit the theology of Abraham's bosom. It doesn't prove it either, this passage. It just doesn't refute it. It would work either way.